Tzu Chi volunteers in the United States hold a cash card distribution to help flood victims in Michigan. The owner of a hotel in Indonesia agrees to place Jing Si Aphorisms in the hotel rooms, sharing words of wisdom. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program with some disaster relief news. At the end of June, heavy rains led to serious flooding in Midland of Michigan in the United States. After conducting disaster assessment, Tzu Chi volunteers recently held a distribution of cash cards. At the occasion, many flood victims expressed their appreciation of Tzu Chi's assistance.
It's been 3 weeks after the floods, but the flood victims still look worried.
It's really taken away everything I've worked for my whole life. So.
Because we lost everything. We lost my home, my furniture. We lost everything.
Michigan suffered great damage because of the huge storms in late June. Over 3,000 families are affected by the floods.
Thank you.
After more than 1 week of evaluation, Tzu Chi joined hands with the Red Cross to give out cash cards and blankets to the victims.
Lost my house in the flood. I didn't know what I was going to do, but the volunteers restored some measure of faith in humanity.
I like the way you guys take the time to honor the people that you're providing assistance to, explaining what you are. You know, it's really been a positive experience, and I've enjoyed working with you guys.
The volunteers listen attentively to the victims outpouring their pain, and a hug can give them much warmth.
Since I've been here, I feel really uplifted that you guys lifted my spirits so much today, and I so appreciate all the help that you've given us.
I don't have a lot, and the little bit I got, maybe it can help someone else. So just a little bit. Started with 2 cents.
72 families can feel relieved with the help from Tzu Chi, and they will have more strength to rebuild their homes.
In the Philippines, Navotas City is the most impoverished city in Manila area. To safeguard the health of local residents, TIMA members hold a free clinic in the city every year. This year, a priest provided a church as the venue, showing his great support for Tzu Chi. Some medical students from Tzu Chi University in Taiwan also served at this free clinic.
In this church are some medical students from Tzu Chi University in Taiwan performing sign language to liven up the atmosphere. In addition, they also provide health education. Although this is a Buddhist group, the Tzu Chi Free Clinic is not a conflict to the participants.
We came here to help the underprivileged people treat their illness. Our different religions is not a problem because we all have the same faith.
Navotas City is the most impoverished city in Manila area. Therefore, Tzu Chi hosts a free clinic here every year. This year, the venue is provided by a priest. This girl who has poor vision comes to this church to pray every day. She feels very happy because God heard her prayer.
After undergoing surgery, I can see more clearly and go to school.
This patient has had a sarcoma on her neck for 11 years. After going through the removal surgery, her worries are put to rest.
Now I can work and I won't be afraid of other people's peculiar look.
In addition to witnessing the poverty and suffering of the patients, these medical students who come here for cultural exchange also see their smiles.
I feel very thankful because I no longer need to buy medication.
The patients' gratitude also inspired this medical team to take on their mission to help those in need.
Born in Malaysia, Ahmad Hamdani of Indonesian background has a tumor on both sides of his nose since he was 3 months old. Now as the boy turns 4, the growth continues to expand, which worried his parents. However, they cannot afford medical treatment. After learning about the situation, Tzu Chi volunteers from Kuala Lumpur and Selangor reach out to help.
4-year-old Ahmad Hamdani's sarcoma on the side of his nose continues to grow as he ages, which worries his mother.
I am worried about him as the tumor is near his nose. I'm afraid it might put him in danger.
Hamdani's mother, Maida, is a cleaning lady and has been in Malaysia working for the past 6 years. Maida's husband doesn't make a lot of money either, thus the family does not have extra money to go to the doctors.
She was at another hospital which she would have to spend about 100 Malay ringgit just for an exam. She doesn't have that money to spare.
After Tzu Chi volunteers heard of their situation, they subsidized the examination fee for the 4-year-old to get checked.
These past few months, we've noticed the tumor getting larger. Perhaps fluids are retained there. He's also a hyperactive child, so we are worried about it affecting his health. The earlier the treatments, the better.
The doctor's diagnosis is that he has prefrontal cerebral hernia, which should immediately be operated on. The parents have decided to take Hamdani home to Indonesia for further treatment.
She's considered an illegal worker, so she would have to pay a fine, which would be about 3,500 ringgit. We suggest she go back to Indonesia, and the Tzu Chi volunteers there can take over this case.
I'm grateful the volunteers are helping me return to Indonesia because I don't have the money for airfare. Life is difficult here. I need to buy formula and pay rent.
Maida and her children are finally on their way home, while volunteers look forward to hearing an update on Hamdani's condition and hope he remains in good health.
A girl surnamed Wayne from Vietnam suffers from a disease which led to the deformation of her left leg. She came to Taiwan to receive treatment a year ago, and now she has almost recovered from the surgery. Another girl surnamed Lee is also from Vietnam and was in a similar situation as Wayne. She also came to Taiwan to seek medical assistance. As these two girls are almost the same age and they live in the same ward, they encourage each other. Thank you all. The sun beyond the mountains glows. The Yellow River flows to the sea. You can enjoy a greater sight by climbing to a greater height.
This 13-year-old girl suffers from lymphangioma in her lower limbs. A year ago, she came to Taiwan to receive treatment. During this period of time, she has not only recited some Tam poems, but also understood a bit of Mandarin. Before she returns to Vietnam on July 26th, the medical team happily celebrates her birthday. She also encourages a 12-year-old girl who also comes from Vietnam to overcome fears receiving treatment.
I will work hard. I hope the doctors can help treat my illness, allowing my legs to become beautiful.
This girl also suffers from lymphangioma in her lower limbs, causing her right leg to be swollen. She came to Taiwan in June and has gone through a surgery. These two girls live in the same ward and encourage each other. The medical team indicated that such surgery is quite complicated, as it needs to be completed in several stages.
After the patients receive anesthesia, they may have complications. For example, their thrombosis may move to the pulmonary artery. To deal with this kind of situation, we need the assistance of anesthesiology and cardiology departments.
The greatest wish for these two girls is to be able to walk like a normal child and to run and jump like a happy little princess.
In our next report, we'll look at how a father-son pair from Taichung, Taiwan improved their relationship through music. Mr. Chen has had a dream of learning to play the piano since he was young. Being unable to fulfill his dream, he then put this dream on his only child. However, he lived in despair after he became paralyzed in a traffic accident. It was until his son began studying music in college that he walked out of despair.
I wanted to pull off the respirator because my hands were not tied at that time. I was thinking about doing that because it was too painful to live.
Three years ago, a traffic accident left Mr. Chen paralyzed.
I don't really like the way he hides his thoughts in his mind. If he keeps doing so, we can never communicate with each other. But I know that he keeps many things on his mind.
Chen's son likes music, but he chose to study mechanical engineering during his high school years. Those school years were much like a nightmare to him. Both the father and son had difficulties in their life. Only the thing can ease the atmosphere of the family.
I think music is the key to our open communication. Compared to seeing me study, they feel more at ease when seeing me practice the piano. This is quite interesting as it shows cohesion.
Setting goals in his life, Mr. Chen's son was permitted to study music at the college.
After he was permitted to attend college, this family started to form cohesion. I think this also helps to open up Mr. Chen's heart.
It is not easy for Mr. Chen to express his love to his son. However, he feels content every time he sees his son play the piano.
很喜欢。
你喜欢的哈。
真的没有想到他会哭哎。好啦，麦考啊，老公啊。是，以此为贵啦。
I really feel proud of my son. I didn't finish senior high school, but I feel very happy having this son by my side.
The musical notes break the silence of this family, which brings this father and son close together.
In Indonesia, the owner of Lotus Village Hotel has been promoting vegetarianism at his hotel. In addition, after getting to know Tzu Chi volunteers, he recognized Tzu Chi's principles and has agreed to place Jing Si Aphorisms in the hotel rooms. He hopes that the hotel guests will be able to nurture love and wisdom during their stays. Lotus Village Hotel, which is 45 kilometers from a dam, has beautiful and serene environment. Its owner, Sasipto Luis, has agreed to place Jing Si Aphorisms in the hotel rooms.
Terutama itu kan kata-kata bijak dari master.
I think it is very good since there are master's words of wisdom in the book. This way our hotel guests can nurture their love and wisdom.
Since Mr. Luis is vegetarian, the hotel also promotes vegetarianism. Recognizing the ideals of DaAi TV and having a friend who volunteers with Tzu Chi, Mr. Luis believes Jing Si Aphorisms will have a positive impact.
Supaya semua orang dapat
hope more people can read Jing Si Aphorisms, practice them in daily life, and conduct prayers.
Reading a wholesome book in a comfortable environment, people will be able to relax both physically and spiritually. Tzu Chi Japan chapter has been holding a Chinese language class for a while and has been successful in introducing Jing Si Aphorisms, environmental protection, and Chinese language to the students. On this day, they put on a skit on environmental protection and Jing Si Aphorisms with the props they made.
大家都不做回收，让我们的肚子好大又好重哦。
The actors in the skit on environmental protection are parents. They involve Jing Si Aphorisms in the skit.
我是保特瓶 pet bottle。各位小朋友，保特瓶可以丢在普通的垃圾桶里面吗？不可以。那我可以回收吗？可以。
I was a bit nervous because I have never participated in this kind of event before in Japan. But now I have a chance and I feel happy to be able to interact with children.
It's interesting to know Jing Si Aphorisms can be taught to kids. It isn't as difficult as we've imagined, so kids can understand them easily.
These parents are the students of Chinese language class at Tzu Chi Japan chapter. 1 month before, the volunteers had informed the parents to make stage props and to rehearse for a skit, so they could turn their learning into a short skit, and they can also enjoy the process of learning.
In the past few years, mindfulness training in Europe and the United States has been quite popular. Recently, this practice is even being studied by the medical community. After undergoing mindfulness training for 8 weeks to treat anxiety, some people are finding relief. Medical researchers are even using MRIs to scan the brains of those undergoing this practice and are finding some very surprising results.
大概民国82年那时候遇到叛逆期，我就很暴走。我爸妈那时候已经完全拿我没有办法，我不知道我的生命来自这边到底是为了什么。
From 2013 onward, Zhang Pinghan began to undertake mindfulness training and relaxation therapy. After regular practice, his mood finally began to improve over the years.
Mindfulness allows one to decompress and become more relaxed and better interact with others. One can also do some actions to help maintain this mood for a whole day.
Why does mindfulness and meditation training change our emotional state? Domestic researchers have begun to carry out this important study of the brain.
There are 3 main steps. The first 6 minutes, he'll try to be relaxing, and in the last 6 minutes, he also try to remain relaxed.
During the middle 20 minutes, the subject tries to pay attention to his breathing and keeping a mindful state.
会不会觉得声音很大声？好，那我们接下来有一个扫描是6分钟，请你闭着眼睛，保持清醒，不要睡着，可以吗？可以。那我们准备开始喽。
The leader of this research team is the former NTU president Tzu Chi, who is now conducting a 5-year study of the effects of mind training on brain function and structure, psychological behavior. He is especially interested in emotional integration and stress regulation.
The front frontal lobe of the brain, located near the forehead, controls the brain's regulation of emotion through communication between the amygdala, hippocampus, or insula. Actually, compared to the brain's temporal lobe, the frontal lobe is more responsible for doing communication between different parts of the brain.
After our brain receives the message, the insula is responsible for sorting past experiences and the current state, and then sends information to the cingulate gyrus to adjust emotions, either making a positive or negative action. Finally, the instructions are given to the prefrontal lobe for implementation.
The distance of the different brain regions may be very far, as they must pass through the brain's white matter and nerve fiber bundle to communicate with each other. Passing through these nerve fiber bundles connects different brain areas for signal transmission.
In other words, if the overall emotional conditioning system is active or enhanced, there will be better ability to deal with pressure, anxiety, and other emotions. In the first study, a total of 15 people with an average age of about 44 years old were given 8 weeks of mindfulness training with prior encounter of the concept. Researchers would conduct brain MRI scans at 3 different times, including 2 weeks before training, after the course, and 2 months after returning to normal life. The results were quite surprising.
The brain connections improved between the amygdala, the hippocampus, and insula. This became more integrated and complete with more connections, probably improving 4 to 6%.
According to this test, we can see that after the 8-week training course, their pressure and anxiety all reduced.
Researchers also confirmed that the brain saw improved flexibility, and even if the subject stopped the mindfulness training, after 2 months, the brain's ability to integrate and control emotions saw no significant decline. In the future, this means that this could be a more effective way to reduce stress and negative emotions, reducing both physical and mental harm.
Tzu Chi Monthly has recently celebrated its 50th anniversary. For many senior Tzu Chi volunteers, this magazine helped them introduce Tzu Chi to the public and recruit Tzu Chi's donating members. Among them, Lin Hui-mei has witnessed how many readers transformed after reading Tzu Chi Monthly. As Lin Hui-mei flips through Tzu Chi Monthly, she's reminded of the first time she read the magazine.
To celebrate my mother's birthday, I made a donation, dedicating the marriage to my parents. I was happy to see my name being printed on it.
Grabbing Tzu Chi Monthly and heading out, Lin has been taking this route for more than 40 years. Lin cannot wait to tell Li Yue about the newest magazine. The two are like sisters, since they met each other when Lin delivered more than 100 clothes to be washed here.
The first time we met, she brought clothes that she wanted to donate to the needy, so I decided not to charge her. My husband also agreed.
With a kind gesture, Li Yue joined Tzu Chi. Whenever she reads Tzu Chi Monthly, she affirms her decision to do good deeds.
I kept crying. How can there be people with such misfortune? I told my husband that we should work hard to earn money to help the needy.
From a newsletter to a magazine, Tzu Chi Monthly has continued to report on the beauty of love and compassion.
In the era before TV came along, we showed the magazine to our donating members. We tell them about the moving stories, reports on the master or activities of our associations.
In 1981, Master Zheng Yan called on the public in Tzu Chi Monthly's column to help build Tzu Chi Hospital in Hualien. Back then, a nurse who participated in Tzu Chi's free clinic recruited donating members with Tzu Chi Monthly.
We did not quite publicize it. It was just by word of mouth. When the donation records were printed, the donating members learned about it.
Now that Tzu Chi Hospital in Hualien is already a medical center, the important mission of Tzu Chi Monthly continues. It will continue to pass on wholesome stories for generations to come and purify people's minds. Tzu Chi volunteers in Thailand began to hold free clinics since 2015 at the Bangkok Jing Si Hall. Since February of this year, they also added dental services. One Tzu Chi volunteer recently invited her dentist friend to join the free clinic so that dental services can be provided on non-free clinic days for refugees who need it.
5 years ago, in Pakistan, one dentist, he filled my teeth. But now, after 5 years, I was feeling like I want to fill it again.
Today isn't a free clinic day, but the dental clinic next to Bangkok Jing Si Hall is busy with patients waiting to see doctors. Starting this month, Tzu Chi Dental Clinic increased the number of days they provide services.
The dental clinic here is well equipped, so if it was only open one day every month to serve patients, I felt it was a pity. So I wanted these resources to be used in the most efficient way to benefit more people.
The first day of service after the extended days is given to volunteer translators. These translators are always busy during the monthly free clinic, and now they have a chance to check their teeth.
When I eat something like sweet, I feel hurt because I like sweets very much. Yeah, but now I will eat sweets. It will be fine for me.
Some people have never seen a dentist before. They've seen one today and have their teeth scaled. They've heard from the doctor how to take care of their teeth and oral cavity, and I feel very happy for them.
It is not easy for refugees to see doctors in a foreign country, so the free dental services provided by Tzu Chi volunteers in Bangkok solve their dental problems and give them much love.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Thailand have held a camp on public service attended by students from Teachers College. Through cleaning the environment and serving patients, these future teachers learn to give of themselves to benefit the public. We'll leave you with these images at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.